doing tonight? You guys, I'm so glad I'm here. Thank you all so much for showing up. Yeah! Everyone for you guys! Yeah! You guys, I'm so glad I'm doing this. I've had such a roller coaster of a week. This week I was flying high. I started with some fantastic news. This Monday, I found out that my high school bully, she just got a divorce. So yeah! Yeah, I'm weird and annoying, Melissa? Well, fuck you, because you're a single mom, so there! I felt so good from that news, you guys. And then this Thursday, I got some pretty devastating news, actually. This Thursday, I found out that I made my big break in gay porn. Yeah, guys, that's true. That's probably how you recognize me, sir. That's, No, this is true. This Thursday, a buddy of mine, he texted me and he said, follow this link and jump to 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So I follow the link, and it's just a video of two guys having sex in the back of their car. I was like, why would you send this to me? And essentially what had happened was, at like 2 minutes and 16 seconds, through the back windshield of their car, you can see me walking home. And what's worse, it had rained that day. So I jumped over a puddle, and the minute I jumped, one of those guys came. So it looks like he came so hard I was thrown into the air. Which is not how I wanted to break in the industry at all. Jeez, guys, yeah. My name is Aron W. My last name is W. To quote a college professor of mine, W. That sounds Polish, but clearly that's not the case. Yeah, I'm not Polish actually. I'm African. I'm East African, as a matter of fact. Yeah, I come from a small country called Eritrea. Have we heard of us? Yes, no? Yeah, man. Yeah. I'm African. So being African, it's got its perks, right? Yeah. For starters, one perk of being African is when people yell, "Hey, go back to your country!" I can take that however I want. Because on the one hand, that's very racist. But on the other hand, I should probably visit my grandfather. That's... Yeah. My grandpa is a wild cat. He doesn't speak English, and I don't speak any Tigrinya, which is what they speak over there. But luckily, because I experienced a language credit, and he experienced colonialism, we both speak Italian. So there's that. Yeah, right? He's a real wacky character, my grandpa, right? Here's the thing, though. I speak regular everyday Italian, whereas my grandpa speaks Super Mario Italian? Yeah, he's way over the top, you guys, all right? I'll say regular stuff to my grandpa, "Oh, Baba, cosa successo?" And he says shit like, "Andiamo!" Like a fucking cartoon character. Yeah, right? It's you guys have heard of blackface. Well, essentially, my grandpa does marinara face, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that's my grandpa, you guys, all right? Yeah, if you can't tell from that joke, both my parents are immigrants. And that means I've lived kind of a hard life. Because this country doesn't really like immigrants. Unless they're the founding fathers. Although, I will say, my dad is a lot like the founding fathers. In that he's a terrible father. That's yeah. Right, some of you are historians. Others have met my dad. If you can't tell from that joke, I was raised predominantly by my mom. My mom raised 2 kids while working 2 jobs all by herself, you guys. Round of applause for my mom! Yeah! so glad you did that, because that's all she's getting for Mother's Day. Yeah, I freaking love my mom. She's the coolest. The thing I love doing most with my mom is arguing. You guys, I fucking love fighting that lady, right? No, yelling at that woman like gives me life. It's like the greatest thing in the world. In fact, like the greatest memory I have of my mom, I'll never forget. It was actually of us arguing, and I'll never forget it because it happened on 9/11. And I don't know if you guys remember, although you're not allowed to forget. 9/11 happened on a Tuesday, and growing up, we only had one TV in the house, and because of that, we would watch TV on rotations, and Tuesday was my day to watch TV. Let me get there. And I'll never forget that day. I come home, and my mom was like, Aron, we can't watch cartoons right now. There's been a terrorist attack. And I was like, isn't it interesting that there's always a terrorist attack on my day? She's like, you don't understand. They flew a plane into the World Trade Center. I was like, you don't understand. Maybe they'll fly one into Dexter's lab. You don't know. Kind of an older crowd. Should have said Scooby-Doo. Yeah, man. But like, yeah, that's my mom. My mom is like the main reason I'm a good person. It's like 80% my mom. 20% I was brainwashed by the church. Yeah? Yeah, if you guys can't tell, I'm very religious. Me and Jesus, we got a lot in common. We're just two black guys with weird dads. Thank you so much for laughing there. No. Sometimes I'll tell this joke and white people are like, really? How do you know Jesus was black? I'm like, really? That guy had a six-pack and he died on trumped-up charges. That's very black. Every time I think about the crucifixion of Jesus, I feel real bad for Joseph. Joseph was essentially like the world's first side piece, if you really think about it, right? He just wasn't the father. That's all we know about this fucking guy, right? And what's worse, you have to know, every time Jesus did something interesting, people had to be going up to Joseph being like, hey, is it true? Your son turned water into wine? Only for Joseph to be like, that's actually my wife's kid, as a matter of fact. And then he'd point at Mary and they'd be like, you mean that 14-year-old girl? Like, yeah, I couldn't lock that down. That's a real Bible fact for you guys. Mary was 14 years old. That's gross. Why does God have the same taste in women as R. Kelly? That's crazy. Really? Are you guys Christians or R. Kelly fans? I can't tell the difference. Gosh. Drew, wherever you are, I'm so sorry. Okay, you're gonna get letters because of that joke, all right? All the old people are going to be writing you and just be like, Dear Drew, I was very offended by that blasphemous black comedian. Also, for some reason, he implied that I was old. Ding.